morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's hashtag Expert Insight series, where we're looking at work Mauritius. We've tackled Mauritius as an opportunity from many different perspectives, looking at property opportunities, investment opportunities. But today we really are kind of coupling and marrying the two together. We're saying, if you would like to emigrate and start a business in Mauritius, what do you need? If you're looking to invest or create a revenue income around an investment in Mauritius, what does that process look like? So when we researched this particular webinar, we looked at the industry for, the most successful individuals working within the space that could give you real insight into what this process would look like for you. So we hope that you find the information that's shared today relevant. Just a quick note, this webinar is scheduled for 45 minutes. It's a big topic. We might run a little bit over time, over the 45. I implore you just to stay with us to the end as we're sharing very important information all the way through. Before I introduce the panel today, I just want to run through a little bit of housekeeping. So because this is a live webinar and it is recorded and will be distributed to both yourselves and into the greater market at the end of the webinar. But if you click on a little box at the below that says chat, that'll open up a chat box on the left-hand side of your or right-hand side of your screen. If you select anybody, there you can place your questions. And the experts are here to answer those questions. If we don't tackle them during the course of the webinar, we are recording them and we can then connect you with the right person at the end of the webinar who can then discuss the matter with you perhaps a little bit more personally. We also run a number of polls throughout the course of the morning. When you receive a poll, it will pop up in front of you. If you could please answer the poll, this is for us to do a bit of research. You'll see that one is opened now. You can answer the poll. Once you finish answering the poll, you can just end the poll. For the panelists, I suggest you just click off on the red toggle there and get it out of your line of sight. So let us start our morning. So when we thought to ourselves, if we're talking economic and investment, I think one of the key role players in this segment is Dr. Prega Ramsamy, who is the Counsellor for Economic Matters Africa Mauritius High Commission. He's based in Pretoria, although working very closely with both the South African market and the Mauritian market. And he comes with a wealth of information, experience, looking at Mauritius as a destination. We then thought to ourselves, okay, if we're going to look at this opportunity, what are the type of investments that we can do? And are there property investments in these high tech areas like Iban, the Cybercity, where folks can get a property investment that has a rental earnings that can be the start of either their own business expansion or an opportunity to create a business for them in Mauritius. Rikesh Ballah, who is the CEO of RIHABA, who is busy at the moment developing a very interesting project called Altezza Gardens, and we'll expand on that through the course of the morning. And then, of course, there's no better evidence to the process than somebody who's actually done it. So David Seinker, who's the CEO of Business Exchange, has expanded his business. He's a South African gentleman who's expanded his business into Mauritius, and he is going to share a first-hand account of what that process looks like, the do's, the don'ts, the yeses, the nos, and hopefully by the end of it, we will have a really good idea of where these opportunities lie. So let's get going. Clem, would you mind popping on the video? This video will give us about 3 minutes. It's going to give us a solid overview of what Mauritius has to offer, and then Dr. Ramsamy will take it away. Thank you.
Welcome to Mauritius. Mauritius is a thriving business center in the Indian Ocean. It is well known for its state-of-the-art infrastructure. With global connectivity, the country has a premier and well-diversified manufacturing base. Mauritius is equipped with high-tech engineering, a sophisticated and well-regulated international financial center, and innovation-driven ICT landscape. It is an ocean state with one of the largest exclusive economic zones in the world. Besides having an emerging R&D center, it also has a dynamic and innovative medical cluster towards technology-based and high value-added activities. You may stay in Mauritius for a year under the premium travel visa. You can also work, live and play. Mauritius is not only an exclusive hospitality destination, but is a vibrant creative and film industry in the making. It is a center of excellence for education. It is a knowledge hub. Being among the top 15 economies of the world, it has a guaranteed, privileged access to nearly 70% of the world's population, with preferential access to markets such as India, China, the EU, USA, Turkey, the African continent, and Pakistan. Mauritius is a secure, transparent, and investor-friendly destination. It is your strategic partner in Africa. Mauritius is considered to have a conducive business environment. With a melting pot of culture and tradition, it contributes in fostering unity and social inclusiveness. Mauritius has an exquisite and unique lifestyle. Mauritius is your safe destination.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Ramsamy, if you could perhaps elaborate on that video.
Thank you, Louise, and welcome everybody. Look, this was a teaser to my presentation. I hope that you got a broader view of Mauritius through this video, but I would go into the details of the different aspects of life in Mauritius. What are the sectors that you can invest, because this is about investment in Mauritius, and what are the conditions for investment also. So I think it's important that you know where to invest, how to invest, and what do we expect in return. Can we project the PowerPoint presentation, please? Right, I will start by giving you a glance of Mauritius. It's a very small country, 1.3 million people, and the area is only about 2,000 square kilometers. But it has many international accolades, like first in Africa in terms of doing business, and 13th globally. It is the most innovative African country. The adult literacy is about 90%. And in Mauritius, we speak a lot of different languages: English, French, Creole, and many other languages like Mandarin, like Urdu, Hindi. It's all the languages that you can think of, that you can use. You are able to study in Mauritius these languages because they are taught at primary school, and you'll find that English and French, all the people are bilingual in Mauritius. Next slide, please. Right. So why Mauritius? There are many countries in the world that are attracting investments. What makes Mauritius the ideal place for investors, especially from South Africa, to look at Mauritius? First is the political stability. I think that's very important, political stability, the security that we've got in the country, and the good governance, democratic principles that we've observed throughout the years. And it is also a very friendly business environment that we've got in Mauritius. We can sort of create your business or set up your business within maximum 3 days. And some have done it within a day. It depends on the types of business that you want to get involved in. Some of them will take a bit longer if it is more complicated, but you can register a business within a day. And we allow 100% foreign ownership. There's no problem about foreign ownership, but if you want to have local partners also, it's fine. You can have local partners. And what is important, it's a low tax jurisdiction. I'm emphasizing on this low tax jurisdiction because many people think that Mauritius is a tax haven. It is not. A tax haven is you don't pay any taxes. In Mauritius, you do pay taxes, but it is an harmonized tax of 15% across the board. And in some cases, if you manufacture for exports, for instance, you pay only 3%. And on top of that, in many sectors, you get some concession in terms of tax holidays from 5 to 8 years, which means that you don't pay tax at all in terms of the incentives that we are giving. And of course, you've got free repatriation of profits, no exchange control, and you can bring in your fund and get out your funds without any problem. Then we've got a modern infrastructure, as you've seen in that video, which is quite sophisticated. A modern banking system, got lots of international banks in Mauritius because we are an international financial center. And we are back on the white list. At one point in time, we're having a little bit of technical problems, but it has been solved, both at the level of Mauritius and recognized by the OECD and the European Union. So now we are back to the white list. There's no problem investing in Mauritius. Global connectivity, we are connected with Europe, Asia, and Africa. And we've got a preferential market of at least 70% of global population. Mauritius being small, 1.3 million people, we need to be connected with the rest of the world. And that's why, we belong to so many organizations like SADC, Southern African Development Community, COMESA. We belong to the Indian Ocean Rim, Indian Ocean Commission. So it's all to have a bigger market for people to be able to get access to these markets. And I must inform you also that we've got free trade agreements with many countries, including China, which we signed and ratified in January this year. We've got a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with India, which allows us also to export to India certain products duty-free on a preferential treatment, preferential free trade area, a free trade area agreement with Turkey, with Pakistan, and we have got also double taxation agreements and a comprehensive investment protection agreement with many countries. So we've got a host of possibilities to encourage investors to come in Mauritius, not only by virtue of the concessions that we give, the incentives that we give, but also by our agreements with the rest of the world, especially with Africa. Next slide, please. Right. Now, I've given you an idea of what we offer in Mauritius in terms of incentives, in terms of markets, etc. Now, what are the sectors that we are looking for investors? First, manufacturing. Manufacturing, the host of manufacturing sector, whether it's in textile, light electronics, in pharmaceuticals, we've got a wide variety of sectors in the manufacturing sector, subsectors, I mean, in the manufacturing sector. So we can take this bilaterally if you want. Then, of course, financial services, which is very, very important for us. We've got people can invest in Mauritius in the financial sector and in terms of equity participation, in terms of bringing funds to Mauritius and investing in different countries, especially in Africa. In the context of the African Free Trade Area, there will be a lot of opportunities in Africa. And people can structure their funding in Mauritius and invest in Africa like elsewhere in the world. Then ICT BPO, this is a sector that we are promoting because we need to be connected to the rest of the world and we need to move on innovation, logistics and free-port. If we want to capture the markets in Africa and elsewhere, we need to develop our logistics and free-port. Pharmaceuticals and biotechnology, this is a very important sector for us. And this is where, we've got a park also for pharmaceuticals. And in that particular sector, there's special incentives that we are giving. Instead of 15% tax, it's only 3% that people will be asked to pay. And then we've got professional services. Education, we've got investment in education. We've got a number of foreign universities establishing campuses in Mauritius. Why? Because it is cheaper, safe, and the quality of education in Mauritius is quite high. As I've said, we've got bilingual teachers, and it's very convenient, especially for South Africans to study in Mauritius, given the proximity of the country, and the parents can go and visit them during holiday time. So it's another form of tourism for us. We call it educational tourism. So instead of kids going back to their country, parents come to stay in Mauritius. It's quite interesting. Real estate and construction, energy, green technology, agro-industry, media, and creative industry. You saw in the video that what we are promoting in terms of the film industry. Next slide, please. I'm going to go faster because of the time constraint. Right. Many people invest in Mauritius because of the residency, because each investment is accompanied with residency either for a period of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. So let me go quickly through the different options that you've got to invest in Mauritius. Next slide, please. Right. What we require is a minimum investment of $50,000 US. And this 50,000 can be also in terms of net value in the company, but at least a cumulative turnover, at least 12 million rupees for the 3 years of preceding application. This is for an existing company. If you've got net asset value of $50,000 US and your turnover is 12 million rupees preceding the 3 years you apply for residency, you are okay. Then investment in high technology equipment also. You've got the possibility of getting an investor occupation permit. Next, please. Next slide. Right. The options you've got to have residency in Mauritius and to be able to work in Mauritius is one, you can be self-employed. For self-employment, you need to invest at least $35,000 US. And your annual business income should be 800,000 Mauritian rupees from the third year of registration. We don't ask it from the first year because we know that you've got to set up shop, you've got to know the market, you've got to capitalize on your investment. So from the third year, we expect you to have a business income of 800,000 rupees annually. And you can register a one-man company and you can employ local administrative staff. This is for the self-employed occupation permit. Next, please. Then you can also have an innovator occupation permit. And this is important because you invest in innovative sectors, and you get a 10-year residency. And we don't ask for any minimum amount or maximum amount. It's simply that you've got to have to register with the Mauritius Research Council prior to submission of your investment in innovative production. Next. Then you've got the professional occupation permit. It's a 10-year residency, depending on the contract of employment, because in this case, you've got to get a contract from an employer. And once you get the contract, your stay in Mauritius is valid for the period of the contract. And the monthly basic salary is given for different sectors, what you should get in terms of salary to be able to get this type of professional occupation permit. Next, please. And young professional occupation permit, you know, in Mauritius, we've got a number of foreign students. And once these students complete their studies in certain disciplines like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, fintech, robotics, financial services, etc., they can work in Mauritius on completion of their graduation. And they will get a 3-year residency initially, but then afterwards they can apply for a longer period of residency, depending if they want to stay in Mauritius. So this is the young professional occupation permit. Next. Then in the video, you've heard about the premium visa. We've just introduced the premium visa last year. And under this premium visa, which is a 1-year visa, which can be extended, foreign nationals can come for a long stay in Mauritius, either as a tourist, retiree, or professional willing to carry out business or work remotely from Mauritius. And it's valid for a year. You don't pay anything for that visa. You can work remotely from Mauritius, but your income will have to come from outside. So this is the premium visa that we've introduced recently. Next. Right. And I've mentioned residency by different categories: self-employed, by investment, by investment in special sectors, innovative sectors. If you're a student, you can stay in Mauritius. Then we've got residency by property acquisition. Let's see a little bit what type of residency you can get through the purchase of property. You've got different types of property: integrated resort scheme, the real estate scheme, property development scheme, smart city scheme, and you've got G+2 apartments. Under each of these schemes, you've got residency attached to them. So let's see a little bit what are the different types of residency. Now, if you invest a minimum of $375,000 you get permanent residence. And permanent residence for yourself, for your dependents, as long as you retain that property. Then the taxes, you've got only a registration duty of 5% and a land transfer tax of 5%. No estate duty, nothing of that sort. You can even rent that apartment. You put it in a pool and it is rented for you. And in terms of quality, you've got the insurance before it is delivered to anybody. There is a mandatory insurance in favor of the buyer. So this is the residence permit. If you want to have a long-term stay in Mauritius for permanent residence permit, you've got to invest a minimum of $375,000 US. Next, please. The next one is the high-rise residential apartment. Any non-citizens can acquire an apartment. And the condition is that the complex should be in a building of at least ground level +2. And the minimum acquisition price is $150,000 US. Again, you've got a registration duty of 5%. You can place this apartment in a rental pool. Next, please. Now, this gives you an idea of the different projects we've got in Mauritius. The IRS, the smart cities, hotel projects, shopping malls, leisure projects, business and industrial parks. You can see the island, we've got different places where you can have those sort of development. Next, please. Now, let me take region by region. In Port Louis and the north, you've got different development. You've got the Jinfei Smart City, Beauplan Business Park. You've got universities. You've got the residential properties. You've got 10 PDS projects. Then you've got the Coda Phase 1. This is for Port Louis. And in many of those developments, you can establish manufacturing enterprise like the Richter Business and Industrial Park and the Industrial International Investment PDS Park by Jumei. So in the north, you've got different possibilities of investment. And these areas are quite developed, they are service, and you can just go, there is a price, of course, to pay for rentals, but these are developed areas. Next. So what I've done, I've put different region, the Eastern District, for instance, you've got the same thing, what is being done in terms of development. You've got shopping mall, you've got a integrated project, you've got golf and villas, you've got hotels, etc. Next. So for each, like in the Central Plateau, you've got the Cybercity, you've got Parkside Properties, you've got the Mocha Smart City, PC Towers, One China, and a number of development in the central region of Mauritius. Next. And in the south, also, you've got the Medjin Smart City, the Cap Tamarin Smart City, the Saline Golf Resort, the Belong Golf Course, and the Synthetic Smart City. In the smart cities, at least 50% of the area should be for residential purposes. This is a minimum of 50% of the total area. The rest can be devoted for education, for different types of activities. Like the Medjin Smart City, they have decided to focus 50% on residential and the rest for the development of the educational hub. In some cases, they have developed pharmaceutical hubs. It depends what the developers want. Next, please. So what are the investment drivers in Mauritius? You've got first the real estate development, which have shown that we have prepared the country to allow real estate development, shopping malls, office, golf course, then you've got hotels, you've got marina development, smart cities, then you've got development of ports and harbors, etc. So those are the investment drivers for Mauritius. Why we've got investment drivers? Because we want to be sure that the level of our growth is in tune with the type of investment that we want to attract. Those are the key sectors where we want people to invest. And of course, in terms of the top buyers of property in Mauritius, with the French, followed by South Africa, the British, even the Mauritians are buying properties and investing in those developments like smart cities. And it gives you an idea of all the nationalities that are present in Mauritius buying property. Next. So Mauritius, why Mauritius is attractive also, apart from the good governance, democratic principles, ease of doing business, and low tax jurisdiction, and the infrastructure I've mentioned, market access, and the different facilities that we put at the disposal of investors. It's a harmonious cultural mosaic where people live in harmony for years and years. We've got different cultures interacting with each other, people coming from different backgrounds, and yet we feel that we are one country and one nation. That's what makes Mauritius attractive, and it's safe and secure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ramsamy. That is such an insightful look, and there's been several requests coming from the audience asking for copies of this presentations, which of course we will share with you. I just wanted to, before we move on, and I am conscious of the time, I just wanted to ask two quick questions that were coming from our audience. What is the cost to register a business in Mauritius?
It depends. It depends, because there is a minimum. I can share that, the cost of registration and the cost of doing business. Not only the cost of registration, but I can share the cost of labor, everything. That
would be fantastic. Yes. If you would mind sharing that with us.
Water, but these are evolving, So I will give you the basic, and then it will help your audience to know what will be the cost of registration.
Okay, fantastic. So those of you who are watching, this will be shared with you after the webinar, and then of course it will be available if you want to view the webinar at a later stage. My other question that was just coming in, and I'm sorry, I'm just having a quick look. I just need to quickly scroll back here, was a bit more personal question that was coming in. I just wanted to understand, if you enter Mauritius with a property investment and gain your PR status, your permanent residency status, and only thereafter start a business, what is the impact on your residency and tax status?
There's no problem. As long as you are a permanent resident in Mauritius, you can do any business. If you have acquired a property for $375,000 US, you become a permanent resident. And as a permanent resident, you are able to do any business. You are able to send your children to free public schools, get access to free public hospitals, and you enjoy the same privileges as any Mauritian.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. And I'm sure there are many more questions. We'll try see if we can tackle more later on. Otherwise, we will, of course, connect you if you requested with Dr. Prega. If you would like to, if you'd like to be connected with him and you did not sign the poll question, answer the poll question, then please go ahead and just pop us a message in our chat. So talking about... Yes.
And we will have this business forum from the 7th to the 14th of April. It will be run in Johannesburg on the 7th and the 8th, in Durban on the 11th and 12th, and in Cape Town on the 13th and 14th. And we'll be talking about the value propositions that we give in the different sectors I've mentioned. And it will be important for those who want to attend, can attend. I've sent you the link. They've got to register first, and then they can attend the meeting. And there can be one-to-one meetings with the delegation to answer any questions.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. We will share those links as well in the chat. Just before we move on, just to, there was a question coming in. Yes, Dr. Ramsamy did confirm that it's that you can have 100% foreign ownership. And should you wish to have a local Mauritian partner, you are able to do that, but it is not a requirement. Is that correct?
Yes. It is not a requirement. It is 100% foreign ownership is allowed, but feel free to have local partners if you want.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the presentation. It's really given us a great insight into the overall picture of what Mauritius can offer. So as you mentioned, there are different types of sectors where you can invest. Perhaps you're looking at starting your investment through property, whether that's you moving into the property or looking for an investment property. And I think that's a very exciting opportunity. You know, in Mauritius, as we've mentioned, there was a sort of the Cybercity, if we can call that, in the area of Ebene. And this plays host to a number of foreign businesses. A lot of South African businesses have set up shop there. So we're going to move across to Rikesh. Clem, would you mind please playing the video on Altezza, just so that our viewers can get an idea of the nature of this type of investment before we go into the particulars around the product? It looks beautiful. I was just admiring, before our show, I was admiring the penthouse apartments I think I was designed for a penthouse, I must say. Let me hand over and let's hear about this exciting project. Thank you, Rikesh.
Thank you, Louise. Welcome everyone to the webinar of Estate Living webinar. I'm here to present Altezza Gardens by Madrida Property Limited. Next slide. So Altezza Gardens was launched end of December 2021 in Mauritius and on the social media also. It is an international project. It is a ground plus 2 project on a freehold land with 78 stylish apartments and 12 penthouses. We have 3 floors of offices, including a restaurant. It is the first apart hotel residence in Mauritius, the first high-end and luxury apartments in the region. It is located in Catrabon, which is an exceptional location and an upscale residential neighborhood where you can rent your apartment easily, or it is the best place, one of the best places to live in Mauritius. So Altezza Gardens also has a heated swimming pool, garden and gym on the 10th floor with panoramic views. It is within walking distance from the metro station, from the supermarket, wellness park and schools. We have sold 30% of the apartments so far, and we are looking forward to sell all the apartments in the coming weeks. Next slide, please. So we have 225 parkings on the ground floor, lower ground floor, and basement. From the first floor to the third floor, we have a restaurant and offices. From 4th floor to the 11th floor, we have got 78 stylish apartments and 12 penthouses, including loft penthouses. The restaurant is located on the first floor. The concierge is located on the first floor. We have got a fine international cuisine on the first floor with executive lounge and private lounges for your private events. We offer e-maid services in Altezza Gardens. For instance, you can book your maid well in advance on an hour basis from Monday to Sunday to come and clean your apartment. We have got a centralized laundry service, as well as we have got a cloud-based intranet where you can connect with the restaurant, with the concierge, with the wellness, with the e-maid, and other facilities in the building. Next slide, please. So we have 31 bed apartments from 55 square meters to 69 square meters. The price is from 1.4 million rands to 2.1 million rands. And you can expect a monthly rental income of 8,400 to 10,400 rands. We have got 13 two-bed apartments from 105 square meters to 108 square meters. The price range is from 2.6 million rands to 3.1 million rands. The expected monthly rental income is from 11,000 to 13,500 rands. We have got 35 three-bed apartments from 123 square meters to 150 square meters. And the price range is from 3.1 million rands to 3.9 million rands. Your monthly rental income is in the range of 15,000 to 17,000 rands. And also we have got 12 penthouses, including loft penthouses. You can see that the monthly charges are very low, from 1,400 rands to 5,000 rands per month. It is based on the square meters of your apartment. Next, please. So if we take, for instance, few kind of properties in Mauritius, one in the city center, that is Altezza Gardens, and one near the beach, I would say by the coastal areas. So Altezza Gardens, the minimum average property value or minimum investment would be 2 million rands. Whereas the beach, I would say the coastal areas, it would be 7.5 million rands. And both would be classified as luxury. Your monthly charges at Altezza Gardens would be 2,000 rands minimum per month, whereas by the beach, it would be 7,500 rands per month. Your target market for Altezza Gardens will be nationwide, whereas by the beach, you can target the expatriates for rental. At Altezza Gardens, you can expect a minimum rental return on investment of 7%, whereas 3.5% by the beach. And your loan to value ratio is 70%. That is, your cash investment will be 30%. So if you look at an investment of 2 million rands in Altezza, so you will be required to invest 600,000 rands, and the remaining 1.4 million rands will be financed by the bank. Whereas in other projects by the beach, you will have to invest approximately 2.3 million rands as cash investment, and obtain a loan for 5.2 million rands. So at Altezza Gardens, I would conclude that you can, it is a lower investment, but offer a higher return as from 7%. It is a freehold property. That is, it is a secured investment for you. And you can expect a net profit after charges and interest of, say, 71,900 rands per annum, compared to coastal projects of 15,000 rands per annum. Next, please. So why South Africans should invest now in Altezza Gardens? First, it is a first apart hotel residence concept in Mauritius, well suited to South Africans that want to immigrate to Mauritius or have a second home in Mauritius, or invest in a high return project in Mauritius, or even retire. Currently, the maximum loan to value ratio is 70% of the appraised value of the property, with a term of 15 years and at a preferential floating rate of 3.15%. So most banks in Mauritius have partnered on Altezza Gardens, including the SBM Bank Mauritius, ABC Banking Corporation, Mobank, BCB Bank. Depreciation of Mauritian rupees, making it less expensive for South Africans to acquire an apartment in Mauritius now. Minimum expected return on investment is 7%. Buying an off-plan property and only 10% deposit is required now. So the remaining settlement is in installments over 24 months. And luxury rental market is growing in Mauritius, and Altezza Gardens is the first concept with that offers high rental value in this particular location of the island. And as Dr. Prega mentioned earlier about the various benefits of investing in Mauritius, so Mauritius is indeed an attractive destination to South Africans as well as to the rest of the world. Next, please. So myself, I am the project director, and my team, we are here to support you without any fees for understanding your acquisition requirements, for your reservation of your apartments, with the notary to signature of the title deeds, opening of bank accounts with your preferred banks, as well as assist you in the mortgage application, introducing of service providers for the incorporation of a company if required, obtaining your clearance from the Economic Development Board, application for your residence permit or other permits. Next slide. So we are here to support you, and you can visit us on our website or on our Facebook page. You can contact us or contact me personally. I'm here to assist you at any point of time. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What an interesting project, and very well positioned, and an enticing price range for South Africans, coming in at a lower price range, especially if you're looking to, in the future, you'd like to start up a business. If you want to expand your property portfolio, or if you're looking for a plan B, but don't necessarily want to invest in the heavy capital. Perhaps you're not a beach goer, but would rather be slightly more inland, closer to where you plan on setting up your offices. So there's a number of opportunities that the project represents. Just quickly, the project is set to start construction when?
The expected construction date is in July 2022.
So expected construction to start in July 2022 with approximately 18-month construction timeline.
24 months.
Sorry, 24 months.
Yes.
24 months construction. So then looking to deliver apartments in 2024. Is that my maths? I'm sure my maths is right there.
In June 2024, latest.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. So for those of you who've got a little bit more of a long-term planning, you mentioned the staggered payments, so that that means that you're obviously, as the bank is approving and the property is being released, then the next payment requirement gets put in place. Fantastic. Okay, so Barry, let us now move over to David. I think it's nice. We know that these opportunities are there. Lots of folks have sent through emails mentioning what industries they're looking at, where they're looking for, what they're looking for, and we'll tackle those questions. Perhaps we're going to have to tackle them offline. Those of you putting them in the chat, thank you very much. But there's nothing like first-hand experience to give us additional insight into the process. So David has walked the walk, and has very kindly taken some time aside for us this morning to give us that insight. So thank you very much, David. We have a little bit of a short video for those of you who don't know what the Business Exchange is. Clem, if you could please just pop on the video, so that we can have a look and see the level of service that is offered. And this is obviously at your Mauritius division or branch. I'm not sure, your hub, probably a better word. And you can just press play there, Clem. Thank you so much. Just to note, that video footage we saw, that area of Ebene, this is the same area where Altezza Gardens is situated. So for those of you who don't know the area that well, this is obviously the smart Cybercity, and the hustle and bustle, and a lot of businesses have relocated or are located there. So David, is that one of the deciding reasons why you elected to set up shop in Ebene in Mauritius?
Yeah, so just to give a small intro, I'm the CEO of the Business Exchange. As mentioned, we were founded in 2014 in South Africa, and we decided to open in Mauritius in 2019. And it's actually been our most successful business center, since inception. So it's really been a great success story for us. We went to Ebene because we're more of a business brand. We're targeting a lot of financial service companies as tenants, as well as other industries and professional service businesses. But we attract a lot of international clients and businesses, so they want to be set up also in Ebene, Cybercity. And the process for us, so we have a fully serviced, furnished, turnkey office solution. It's a flexible offering, so that's also why companies like that, especially in this post-COVID era. Businesses are looking for more flexibility, ways to cut down their office expenditure, and obviously decrease their risk profile. So going into a service type of offering, service office offering, is something that's really popular. But even pre-COVID, Mauritius was as I said, a very successful venture for us. Some of the learnings, opening up in Mauritius, let me start off by saying that it was a very pleasant experience. And doing business, Mauritius is a very business-friendly destination. I can vouch for that with first-hand experience, from setting up your company to resourcing. It really was. It was quite a seamless process. The only, perhaps, look, I think, setting up in a new country, you need to understand the legal frameworks. And, something for us that we had to learn as we kind of went was more around, like labor laws. So I think that's one learning for us, is we had to learn about the labor laws as we opened up there. They were quite different to like South African labor laws. But with regard to everything else, the legal framework was actually quite similar to South Africa. So with regards to executing contracts with landlords and tenants and service providers, etc., that was quite seamless. But I would just raise a flag around the labor side. Not that it's complicated, but just know what you're doing there. And as I said, it was a very seamless experience. We've done really well there. We've got great staff. The people in Mauritius are very professional, versus some other regions I've dealt in. So that's again another feather in the cap for the Mauritian country. Is that people are extremely professional. They take a lot of pride in their work, and that's something, as I say, you don't always find. So that's another advantage of doing business in Mauritius, on top of the business-friendly landscape, as I mentioned before.
And David, so if we take us back to the beginning, had you already developed the concept of the business exchange in South Africa? So you were expanding into Mauritius, is that correct?
That's correct. So we had various sites in South Africa, and our sort of vision or objective is to grow an African footprint. So interestingly, I was actually approached by a major property developer in Mauritius when they were in Johannesburg, and they happened to have a meeting at our premises, and they really, really liked what we were doing, and they believed in the concept for Mauritius. And we were, as I said, we were looking at growth within Africa, and I've been to different countries like Kenya and Ghana, even Zimbabwe. And after doing more research into it, I realized there was a very interesting proposition in Mauritius for us, because when we can't go into all of it now and we're pressed for time, but when you're setting up business in Mauritius and you want to set up your headquarters there, you need to fulfill certain criteria. They call it the laws of substance, and there's various ones. I think there's 6 of them. But one of them is that you need to have, premises. Another one is you need to employ staff. Another one is you have to have board meetings there, etc., etc. So we realized there was an opportunity for us to set up office space there to assist with this requirement. And we could also achieve something else. And that is for us as the Business Exchange wanting to do business in Africa, it made a lot of sense actually to start in Mauritius, because then we could be headquartered there. So, I managed to kind of kill two birds with one stone there, so to speak. And it made a lot of sense. And we then did our homework. We wanted to go into the right location. We wanted to make sure that our landlord or property partner, depends what sort of structure you enter into, were very reputable. And we obviously, they ticked that box. So we did our homework in that regard. We managed to set up the business, and then, we set it up, and it went really well. And as I said, it's been a big success story for us.
And so how long has the business been operating for currently?
So we started in 2014, the group, and Mauritius we started in 2019.
So you started just at the start of COVID, right into lockdown?
Well, a bit before. Luckily, we filled up the centre very quickly, and we had a good period of trading before we went into lockdown and COVID. But again, fortunately, and of course, the rest of the country of Mauritius may have taken strain in certain, like the hospitality sector. Look, no one was shielded from COVID, right? But fortunately, although we took a knock, it wasn't as bad actually as some of our other properties, internationally. And we rebounded very quickly. So we actually at 100% occupancy right now, and we have a waiting list. And we actually, as we speak, we've just concluded a transaction to double our space within the same building. So we're actually doubling our offering there. And we're looking at space in Grand Bay and even potentially the West Coast. Yeah.
So would you say currently, and obviously things change, that, and I know the exchange rate plays a role here, but would you say that your Mauritian hub is doing similar or better than your South African hubs?
Look, it's quite hard to compare apples with these things, because a lot of them are a lot bigger, or there's different deal structures. But I would definitely say from a feasibility financial perspective, I can round it up, it's up there with some of our best. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then from I'm so sorry, I know we've hit 12 o'clock, but I just got asked this question. So from a cost perspective, costs, tax, corporate tax, liabilities, risks, etc. How have you navigated that landscape?
Yeah, so it's actually something I was going to mention. So you need to understand the taxes and the implications with regards to that. And there's different structures. But, as Dr. Ramsamy pointed out earlier, your typical sort of corporate tax is 15%. There's PAYEs, etc., that you need to be paying for your staff. So your basic business taxes, let's say, are pretty standardized. But 15% in Mauritius is far better than 30% in South Africa. It's half, 29%, but still half. So there are certainly advantages with regards to that. Look, on the flip side, living costs are higher in Mauritius, education costs are higher. But if you can set up business and do well there, it's certainly a great place to live. And it's even a place we've considered, my family and I, of moving across, and it's not out of the question either, But I think from a tax regime point of view, you've got to look at what you're doing. There are different structures where you can get lower tax rates. But again, I would caution people against that, because a lot has also changed with that. And, the country of Mauritius is very aware of making sure that there's no, unscrupulous activity, etc. So one must be very cautious of thinking that it's just like a tax haven, because it's not,
We really appreciate everybody coming on board today and preparing for it, sharing your knowledge and insight. And we have asked at the end if you would like us to put you in contact with any of the panelists who maybe can help you with additional information. That's an absolute pleasure. I don't know if Dave, if you agree to that as well. It's quite nice to have somebody who understands the landscape and speaks your language of an entrepreneur that's looking to expand. And I could definitely see as an entrepreneur, as you look as we sitting at 3 months into the year, all looking slightly haggard. I hope that you all take this opportunity to enjoy the rest of your day. For those of you who joined us and have stayed with us, thank you. And we will carry on our Expert Insight series next week, where we look at several property development opportunities, and then we'll be speaking across to different topics, talking to our property developer audiences, our estate managements, local and abroad, and we hope that this series has given you the information that you are looking for. Thank you.